Hi everyone. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button as you come in, guys. Y'all, if y'all hear some kids in the background, child, I have niece, nephew, and plus my two. So you're gonna hear some kids in the background, but they are doing just fine, just being kids. Um, Now I'm gonna wait a few minutes for some people to get in because, guys, we got a lot to talk about. I want to give you guys an update on Ariel and Jerry Robison. Um, we're gonna listen to the bell hearing. I found it. Y'all know your girl will find something. I'm telling you, it's a lot of things, guys. If you want to be updated on some cases, you may need to hit that join button, because if you want to be updated on some cases that I am researching, I am letting my I am letting my members know some of the things that has fallen in my lap. I have told some of my members what I know. So if you want to be a part of the news and views group to figure out what is going on, then join the membership. Make sure you guys hit that like button as you come in, and make sure you guys if you want to share me out, share me out. I do appreciate that. um just allow me a moment here. Now we're gonna get into, and maybe you guys can um maybe you guys could come in later and let me know what you think. But I am going to play this video for you guys. I did tell you guys that Ariel Robinson bond, she wanted her bond to be lowered to $40,000. Well, today they had the hearing, and Jerry has spoken out about some of the things that happened in the home and about the abuse. So the abuse was put on Ariel, and I'm gonna let you guys listen to this video, um, and y'all tell me what you think. Just allow me a moment.
Judge, this man told first responders that Tori had drowned by drinking too much water. The firefighters could also see unexplained excessive bruising on her body, deep purple bruising on her abdomen, Judge, bruising on her ear, abrasions on her face, bruising down her back and up and down both legs. Police talked with this defendant to get an account of what Tori's day was like, Judge, on January 13th and then the 14th, leading up to when this defendant, the co-defendant, called 911. This defendant told police that the night before, Tori had thrown up on the way to church, but that after that, they went home. She had no real issues and that she went to sleep. Then the next morning, this defendant says that Tori gave pancakes. While she and her husband, this defendant and her husband, were home alone with the child, and the other four boys, this defendant's two other biological children, and Tori's brother, all went to school. She outlined for police that Tori started asking for more water, Judge, and that the co-defendant filled up her cups all the time. This defendant said the victim started saying her stomach hurt and that she was cold. That's when this defendant said she gave Tori a heated blanket and was holding Tori when the child went limp. This defendant says at that point, Your Honor, that she began to perform the Heimlich maneuver on Tori, believing that she was tripping. This defendant told police that didn't appear to work, and she began to press on Tori's stomach and told her husband to call 911. The defendant said that she was told to move Tori to the floor, Judge, and begin CPR until firefighters arrived. The lead detective on the scene, investigator Scott McGraw, began to ask additional questions about the extensive bruising that was all over Tori's body, and asked this defendant, how did that get there? As to the abdominal injuries, this defendant stated, quote, I did that. And then she also said, quote, I was pushing really hard. The officer continued to ask about the extensive bruising up and down her back, her body, and both legs. This defendant then stated that the victim's 7-year-old biological brother had anger issues and had caused those injuries. The officer asked what a 7-year-old could possibly use to cause such extreme bruising, and this defendant stated he'll pick up anything and hit her. The victim died later that day. Judge, an autopsy was conducted by Dr. Michael Ward, Chief Medical Examiner for Greenville County. Dr. Ward determined that Tori died from multiple blunt force trauma and that the manner of death was homicide. After leaving the autopsy, law enforcement went to Bethel Elementary School, spoke to the principal about Tori's biological 7-year-old brother, that this defendant had claimed caused injuries to Tori, and the principal described him as a happy, smaller child with no outward signs of physical abuse towards anyone. Judge, this victim had no known health problems. She was in the sole custody and care of this defendant and her husband, Jerry Austin Robinson. Several days after the arrest of both of the defendants, Judge, Mr. Robinson's attorney contacted the state and said that his client wished to make a statement. Austin Robinson told police that he had not physically ever hurt Tori, but that this defendant would, quote, spank and beat her with different things, including a belt, paddle, flip-flop, or whatever. The interview was 2 hours and wide-ranging, Your Honor. But as to the actual injuries for Tori, he stated that this defendant beat Tori with the belt. He was outside and he could hear it. When he came inside, he saw the bruising and looked at Ariel and said, you've gone too far. He said that they put Tori in an Epsom salt bath. And he says he went to CVS to try to buy some medication for Tori to bring down the bruising. Your Honor, law enforcement did secure surveillance video, and it does show Jerry Austin Robinson buying that medication around 1. BMS was called to the residence roughly around 2 p.m., Judge. This is an active investigation, and at the time of Tori's death, Judge, she had not been formally adopted yet. She was under DSS here. The final adoption hearing for Tori was actually set for January 19th, 2021, and that hearing never happened. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that the state would like to speak at this hearing?
Is this the appropriate time to put victim input on the record?
Certainly.
Judge, because Tori was in DSS custody, DSS has been notified of this hearing and they're observing it. The biological mother of the victim in this case is present, and she is Attorney Jake Irwin. Her name is Cassie Ferris, and I do believe she wanted to address the court. The solicitor's office has made that available for her if she would like to say.
Mr. Irwin, would your client care to say anything?
Yes, ma'am, just briefly.
Certainly, yes, ma'am.
And Judge, for the record, this is Casey Ferris.
Thank you.
Okay.
Your Honor, Representative Casey Ferris.
Ma'am, could I stop you for just a moment? Mr. Irwin, with your permission, could your client remove her mask?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
So we can make sure we can hear her. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I'm Casey Ferris. On Thursday, January the 14th of 2021, 3-year-old daughter Victoria Rose was taken from this earth. My family and I have been devastated by her passing, and it's because of this that we respectfully request that you did not bond for the defendant.
Well, thank you so much for being here, ma'am, and I'm just so sorry for your loss, and my condolences to you and your family.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Ms. Sustakevich, you were muted at that time. Is there anything else the state would like to present?
I just wanted to note that the 2 lead officers on this case, Blood Agent Charlene Ezell and also Investigator Scott McGaw, are present. Your Honor, the state is requesting no bond in this case.
All right, thank you. And thank law enforcement for being here. Mr. Bowden?
Court, can you hear me okay?
We can now hear you. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Bill Bowden for Ariel Robinson today. Your Honor, I'm here with Alvin and Sharon Payne, who are Ms. Robinson's parents. Also sitting with us today is Alicia Ratliff, who is Ms. Robinson's sister. Your Honor, we're all very sorry to be here under these tragic circumstances. Our hearts break for Tori and for all those that loved her. But we are requesting a bond today. Respectfully asking you to consider setting a bond for Ms. Robinson. She's 29 years old. She's lived her entire life in Greenville County in the upstate. She's a graduate from Lander University with a degree in communications. She also holds a master's degree in education from Clemson University. She was a middle school teacher from 2016 to 2019 here in the upstate. She had been the children's director at her church for 7 years. She is an assistant coach, was an assistant coach for an upstate middle school basketball team. She volunteered as a coach at the YMCA in Simpsonville for a couple of years. She was until recently on the PTA board at an upstate elementary school here in Greenville County. She volunteered at career fairs, character building workshops at 2 different schools in the upstate. Your Honor, essentially she's been heavily involved in the community her entire life. She does not own a passport, Judge. Her family has lived here in the upstate for about 30 years. Alvin Payne, her father is a retired Army officer. Her mother Sharon's a retired substitute teacher. They're on a fixed income currently, and certainly there's been financial stresses for them. As a result of this, they're currently have legal custody of Ms. Robinson's 2 biological children. Her sister, Alicia, who's present, is a pharmacist. She currently works at Fulton Chicken College here, lives in the upstate, has her entire life. Your Honor, they're here just as support of Ms. Robinson, but they're also here to ensure the court that they will assist and abide by any potential conditions that you may place on Ms. Robinson's bond if you were to grant one today. Now, Ms. Robinson has no prior criminal history. She's currently been in jail for 25 days because of this charge. And we're just asking for a reasonable secured bond set today, Your Honor. I know I placed a $40,000 request on my motion, and certainly that was based on the economic situation of Payne's. But we'd like you to consider whatever you think is a reasonable bond in this situation. We have no objection to electronic monitoring or home detention, should you feel that that's appropriate. Ms. Robinson understands that there are restrictions put in place by the family court regarding contact with her children, and she is prepared to comply with those. We would certainly have no objection to any extra condition of bond, be that she follow any orders of family court or other conditions that you find appropriate. The case is still an active investigation, as the solicitor said. We appreciate the information that's been quickly provided to us by Ms. Sistokovich, but certainly there are other things that we haven't received yet, and we look forward to furthering our investigation. We believe that Ms. Robinson's history and characteristics demonstrate that she is not a flight risk, nor a danger to the community. But if this court has concerns based on the serious nature of the charges, then we believe that certain conditions can be put in place that will assure her appearance in court and ensure that the community is not in any unreasonable danger. Thank you for hearing us today.
All right, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Bowden?
No, ma'am.
Anything else from the state?
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, thank you. Based on the seriousness of the charges and the egregious nature of the allegations in this case, I do find that the defendant in this case is a flight risk and does pose a substantial danger to the community, most particularly to the children who were in her custody and potentially even to herself. I do not know, but a danger to the community. And based on that, Mr. Boughton, I respectfully deny bond. All right, thank you. I'm now going to log off for about 15 minutes.
Okay, guys. So Ariel's bond has been denied. Jerry's not seeking a bond, and I understand why. Because even though I feel in my heart that even though he didn't hit the baby, that he was negligent because he didn't stop it. And he just allowed it to happen. See, this is what he has already implicated her when he stated that. And this is the difference between the two different cases I'm following. This is crazy. This case right here, there is evidence of abuse on the child. And you can see you can recognize what has been used. That's what I'm saying. So she used a paddle, she used a belt, she used I think they said she used a flip-flop. And the incident that happened, I think she probably used a paddle and beat that baby with a paddle and bruised this baby up. And they said that she tried to put it on a 7-year-old child, and the police was like, a 7-year-old child wouldn't do all this. So all the evidence was there to implicate Ariel. So her bond has been denied, and she really thought that she was going to get out with a $40,000 bond. I knew that judge was not going to fall for that, even though she may be prestigious in her life and her community and stuff like that. But you beat a child, and it is evidence that shows that you did. Your husband done spoke against you and said that you did, and y'all tried to. The way that, so Jerry was kind of the accessory because of the fact that he tried to cover it up a little bit by putting the baby in soft water to try to help with the bruising and stuff like that. This is my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? This is my view. You might as well say, but I can say that this baby didn't deserve to be beaten. This baby didn't deserve to be beaten. Not like this. And then it's evidence that shows that this woman done beat this baby. And I think she got anger issues. I think she really thought, because the way that she looked in the court in her bail hearing, she was very confident. Her lawyer had her confident enough that she was going to get out. And then when they said the bond denied, her whole face dropped. This is crazy. And it's sad that a lot of us Black parents, I hate to say it, Black adoptive parents, but I just got to keep it real. It's sad that a lot of Black adoptive parents are abusing their children. You don't adopt children for the pay because your ass don't want to work. We'll go lay down, baby. Take a nap. Y'all done ate all that candy. In just a minute. Let me get through. Because you don't want to work. So what you decide to do is adopt. But then it becomes too much for you. So you decide, oh, I'm going to discipline my children. But see, you done discipline this girl and done beat her to death. And it's evidence on her body that proves that. And it's sad. It is sad. I just want to come on here, guys, and give you this update and let y'all see this video yourself for yourselves. I was going to, I'm just going to say this. Jerry may not get the amount of time. He may not get a lot of time as Ariel, because Ariel was the one that did it. It's sad. It's sad for kids to be beaten for no reason. And just because, if I don't understand. Like I said, it's two different cases I'm following, guys. This one for sure. And the one about the stepmom, Takia Beverly, that has been railroaded. But this strange to me. I had asked, and when I said that Ariel got homicide by child abuse, and she had blunt force trauma too, and it was prevalent, and it was evidence that showed that little girl was beaten like that. But in Takia's case, it shows nothing on the body like that. And her and Morris didn't get homicide by child abuse. So they couldn't prove that they couldn't prove that they was abusing that baby. That's my opinion. Hey, what do I know? I don't know nothing. But anyway, guys, I wasn't gonna hold you guys long, but y'all see the evidence is there. I'm still gonna report on this case. There's gonna be some more cases that I talk about. And as well, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button. And as well, guys, and that's true, Kendi. And that is true. But it's sad no matter what race. I'm not trying to make it a racial thing, but I'm just saying, to be honest, like now in the forefront, more women, more Black people are being abusive towards their children, or to be real. And that might sound a little, do I chastise my children? Yes. Sometimes, do I whoop my kids? Yes, they get a spanking. But do I go overboard? No. Y'all know, when you don't feel yourself get so angry that you'll do something to hurt them. That's when you don't whoop them. I don't know. But I understand what you're saying, Kendi. And I'm not trying to make this a race thing. I'm just saying that this baby didn't deserve to die at the hands of her supposedly adopted parents, but they haven't adopted her yet. And see, that's the crazy thing about it. And I understand that, beautiful soul, but the evidence is there that shows what she did. If you listen to the evidence that was presented to the judge by the husband's lawyer, by his testimony, you will see what was said. And by the police report. The police report stated just what the husband did. And the body proved it too. So, beautiful soul, I'm not saying what a person will or will not do, but what I'm saying is, do you see how the evidence and the testimony and everything else lines up. There is no room for reasonable doubt that Ariel whooped, abused Victoria Rose Smith. Okay. That's all that I do have. Because I'm not going to go back and forth with anyone. I don't have to. Y'all have a good night. Make sure if you have not joined the membership, join the membership. But I'm gonna be honest. All the evidence lies, right? It's lined all the way up. Y'all have a good night.